Hello. We'll just wait a few minutes for Christina, and Kevin Ingalls is going to be joining us too. So I'll wait to see if they, few more minutes here to see if they show up before we start the meeting. All right. Looks like everybody's here. At least the members. So I'm going to go ahead and get the meeting started. It is now 9:04 a.m. and I'll call this meeting of the Englewood Environmental Foundation to order. It's Monday, April 19th, 2021. And I'll go ahead and call the roll. So Director DeAndre, present. Director Underhill,
present.
And Director Lowe. Oh, you're muted, Jackie.
Present.
Thank you. All right. So Brittany, if you could pull up the agenda, we'll just walk through that. So we have, this is our annual meeting. So we typically have not had these in the past, but I thought it'd be a good time for us to go over some of the financials and just talk a little bit kind of broader picture about some of the elements associated with EAF. And then John does have one agenda item, so we'll deal with that first once the agenda gets pulled up.
Sorry, just 1 minute. It's being finicky.
Yeah. Sorry if I didn't ask you to do that earlier, Brittany, if you're planning on doing that or not.
So Maria, are you pulling out the 2020 financials?
Yeah, we're pulling up the whole packet and that's
okay.
included.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, I found it, Brittany, so I think we're good. All right, so we've got, so we've had the call to order and the roll call. Is there anyone on the call from the public who wishes to speak? I don't believe we've had any, and Brittany, just to clarify, we haven't had anybody email in either. Is that correct? Okay, I don't believe we have. So we'll move on to new business. So our first order of business is the change order for Keeson Enterprises. We did have a very large storm here in March, and so we need to process a change order to allocate additional funds for that. So I'll pull up, get down to this item. And John, if you want to, I'll give over the floor to you if you want to just talk us through this item.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everybody. So we had that, obviously we had that big storm last month, and prior to that we issued the first change order to add some funds to the existing PO. Just a hunch as far as that we've had a current very mild winter compared to annual snowfall. So that went to a certain point. So after we collected all of the invoices from this last storm, it was about almost a 72-hour period of snow removal from start to finish when they first started. So we're currently just over 90,000 over the current budget, which included change order 1. So I'm recommending an additional 150,000 to take care of the existing invoicing. And now that we've got a couple other late season storms that occurred last week, and we're also due some snow tonight, hopefully this will suffice once we get all of the snowfall invoices finally reconciled.
Quick question, John. What is the average cost for snow removal services in the past? Annual?
Annual, it's kind of all over the place. From what I've seen last year, I believe the end PO was upwards to $4,000 or $5,000, if I'm not mistaken, because we did have some big storms early, and at that time my position was not overlooking it, so I believe they were staff was proactive from last season. So I think the 2019 to 2020 was in excess of 400,000, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's correct. I think it even maybe the year before, we've got that data, Jackie, if you want to see that.
Oh,
So
sorry,
we can
I have
certainly
this
send
in
that
front of
on, but
me. Yeah.
yeah, it varies, obviously with the amount of snow that we get. So yeah, last fall, so it would have been the fall of 2019, right? I'm confused. Yeah, was high.
Yeah.
And then spring, not so much. And here we kind of had the opposite, where we had one big storm early on, but now we've had quite a few in the springtime here. So, but I'll plan to get you, I think we have at least the last 3 years of what we've expended on snow.
Or I could ask Kevin. I have the 2020 expenditures in front of me. 2020 we spent 206,000. So 2019 we spent a lot more. And
Okay.
then 2021 probably 500,000 is the current estimate, right? Okay.
Yeah, so this covers the whole snow season. That's where it gets confusing too, is because we break out the expenses by year, but the snow basically covers a season. So it's a fall of 1 year and the spring of the next, or fall and winter of 1 year.
Okay.
It does get a little confusing. Okay, any other questions of John? Yeah, unfortunately, this is, I think, and Jackie, I'd be interested in your feedback. We budget for like an average snowstorm or snow season. So I think, would we want to go in the future? Do we want to go high? John and I were talking a little bit about this, since we do, it is like a time and materials kind of a thing where we go by the size of the storm. So even if we authorize a larger dollar amount, we're only going to spend it if the snow comes about and we need those services. So does it make more sense to make it high, knowing that we might only spend a certain amount, or do we do this change order process? Just a question for the future of how we might want to do this better.
Yeah, I'll think about it and then we can revisit this topic.
Okay. Yeah. All right. With that, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this change order. Let's see, it's in the amount of $150,000.
Okay. I'll second that. Any further discussion? All right. So I'll take the roll. Director DeAndre, aye. Director Underhill,
Aye.
and Director Lowe.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. So we'll go on to our next item of business. So here's the change order documentation. And this will go before City Council on May 3rd, I believe it is. All right, and here we go. So Kevin was supposed to be on. I don't see him, but he was going to walk us through some of the financials here. So he does prepare a balance sheet. I believe he does that every single month. And you can see here, I'll try and do the best that I can, given that he's not on the call. But we do have a fair amount of cash, as you can see there, $800 and some thousand. We do maintain a checking account as well. So that's the revenue side of things. And then we bill or invoice the various entities for the CAM services. So that's folks like RTD, Chuck E. Cheese, those Walmart, they come in with various checks. You can see there's some outstanding accounts receivable there. And then as well as due from the city of Englewood. So we must not have paid our bills yet. So we're in the process of doing that. We've already paid down our insurance for the year. And so you can see there's the balance in terms of assets. Here's what's the valuation currently for the land. We do have some equipment included in there, and you can see then the depreciation is taken off of that. Let's see here. So that's the asset side of things. Then as far as liabilities, we still have, so we're owed money there, it looks like, from RTD, as well as, oh, here's the outstanding balance amount for the COPs, or the certificates of participation. So that was issued, or it was I forget the year that it was issued, but it was basically like refinanced in 2015. So this is the outstanding balance right there. And again, this all becomes final. The final payment is due in June of 2023. So we're just a little over 2 years away from paying that down. And as you know, that's been included in the city, or at least 2.8 of that has been included in the city manager's potential for using some of that long-term asset reserve and some of the unfunded fund balance for capital improvements to buy that down. Okay. So you can see, I think well, you can speak to this better, Jackie, but I think we're sitting in pretty good financial position overall with ETH. Okay. And then Kevin did provide this as well. So this just shows from Tyler New World is our current kind of, this is the first year that we've done a full budget within Tyler New World. So you can see here, one of the anomalies that we're going to have to correct is we've been charging a lot of things with our POs to professional services. And in reality, that should all come out of R&M general is the way that we budgeted it. So there's definitely a mismatch here in how we're doing that. So we'll need to correct that and charge these things to R&M general. So when we hire a company like Keeson, for example, I think of that more as repairs and maintenance, which would be under this line, as opposed to professional services, which I think is more like, to me, is architectural or engineering services. So I think we'll fix that. But overall, you know, we do have a number of encumbrances here that's fairly high. So we're going to double check those just to make sure that that's still accurate. And if we need to close any of those old POs out. So you can see here, we're running in terms of revenue. So this is again, sort of that all the folks who pay in through the CAM, we're sitting pretty good here. We're already over the anticipated amount. And so we've collected all those CAM payments for the year.
Yeah, Maria, I want to clarify a few things.
Okay, go ahead.
For example, the
Please.
revenue line, I believe the budgeted revenue is low compared to the 2020 actual.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably could share if we move up to see the income statement, we will see the total revenue received in 2020. So
okay.
Here,
Oop.
Oh, this is 2021. Okay, so I have a 2020 financials.
Oh, okay.
So like last year, oh, this is also expenditures as well. So
Which sheet do you want me to show? This one?
no, yeah, this is okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I want to point to the total adopted budget, the division A501 expenditures, we budget 1.2 million. At the end of April, we have incurred 1.1 million POs and expenditures 325,000. So if you see the budget year-to-date transaction, we had unfavorable variances in amount of 152,000. I did a check with Eva, though. I don't believe all these, some of the POs need to be closed. Yeah, so just want to clarify, this is where we're at. Yeah. Probably snow removal is one item that put us to this position. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. And then I'm gonna make that just a titch smaller. So this is the other document that we'll typically develop each year as well. This has sort of been our budget, but this shows the breakdown of how the CAM is actually allocated. So there is a formula in here, so you can see RTD, Walmart, Chuck E. Cheese, Art Walk. There's the apartments just to the north of the Civic Center here. Weingarten MDC is the other buildings on the site. 501 Hampton is again one of these apartment buildings just to the north, and then the city's share is on the far right here. So you can see we put in, or Kevin puts in the budget, and then they allocate out those certain amounts based on that formula. And he goes ahead and bills those entities based on that calculation. So our budget for this year is the 1.476. RTD actual expense. So I know that there's something special going on with RTD here as well, in terms of they have some special provisions within their agreement with us about how they get paid back if we go over or under a certain dollar amount. And Kevin could speak to that more effectively. So any questions on that? Okay. Keep going then. All right, and then earlier this year, kind of at the end of 2021 or end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I had acted on a recommendation from our insurance provider. They wanted us to update and have an appraisal done, essentially to update the valuation of our assets within ETH. So specifically things that are covered by insurance. So like the parking garage, the street lights, there's some of the other items in there. We'll go down here. So I had that done. This was completed at the end of December. And basically what I'll do is I'll pass this on once we do new insurance coverage this fall. That's usually put in place by the end of October. So we'll give this document to the insurance provider so that they can get the correct dollar amounts for the insurance based on the items that we're covering. So he does list it in here. Yep, so there was the 2-story parking garage, the bridge to the RTD platform, and the ellipse. So this is also kind of the open space or that amphitheater area in front of the RTD area, the fountain, all of the decorative streetlights on the various blocks, the sprinkler system and landscaping in general. And then there's this brick wall along Floyd Avenue. If you drive along Floyd, it kind of separates the neighborhood from the ETH area. And so that's part of ETH as well. So those are the items covered within this document. And you can see here that that adds up to just over $15 million. So this is quite a bit higher than what our insurance coverage was prior. This is all broken down by individual entity. I think the parking garage is the one that went up the most. And so again, we'll probably see the results of that in our insurance rates for next year. Maybe not a whole lot, but at least it will reflect then an actual or more closely align with the valuation for what that facility would take to replace that. You can see here just the rest of the report goes through that in more detail with each of those elements and the assumptions that he made when he was working on that. So let me see if I can get, yeah, so there's pictures, kind of his methodology for how he did this is all contained in here. So any questions on that?
Maria, when do we usually renew the insurance?
Yep, it's got to be in place by October 31st of each year.
October 30. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So again, I'll pass this on to them as probably, they start to work on the getting new quotes, probably July, August timeframe, so that we're ready to go and everything is signed by the end of October. Okay, is Kevin on at all? No. Okay. Well, I apologize for not being able to speak too much to the financials.
No, you did it very well.
If there's a desire to go into
but I
more
will follow
detail.
up with Kevin. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if there's a desire to go into more detail, we can certainly invite Kevin back to a future meeting. But I think the important thing is that we're tracking this in Tyler New World and trying to be very transparent with the money and making sure that we're staying on top of this basically every month and looking at this. So from that perspective, I think things are going well. Okay, so any further questions or about any of the financials or the insurance document?
Nope.
Okay. All right, any other business to bring up? All right. Seeing none, then I will adjourn the meeting at 9:26 a.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.